seen him? I'm sure he came this way.
David's heart raced as he descended deeper into the ancient library, his footsteps echoing through the cavernous halls. The air was thick with the scent of forgotten knowledge, and the walls pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Welcome back to Echoes of the Past. In this final episode, we witness the culmination of David's journey through the dystopian world of 2077, where the boundaries between past and future have all but disappeared. As David navigated the labyrinthine passages, his augmented reality interface flickered to life, casting an eerie blue glow across the crumbling stone walls. The artifacts, those mysterious relics of a bygone era, seemed to hum with anticipation. Could this be the moment he'd been searching for? The key to unlocking humanity's forgotten potential. Suddenly, a shadow moved in the corner of his eye. David spun around, his heart pounding. He wasn't alone. The corporations, those ever-watchful vultures, had followed him here. Their agents, like wraiths in the darkness, were closing in. But David refused to let fear paralyze him. He'd come too far to turn back now. With renewed determination, he pressed on, his fingers dancing across holographic displays as he hacked his way through ancient security systems. The library's defenses, dormant for centuries, sprang to life at his touch. Mechanical guardians, their metal bodies, adorned with intricate African patterns, emerged from hidden alcoves. David's mind raced as he sought a way past these formidable sentinels. His years of experience as a hacker served him well, and soon he found himself standing before a massive door, surface etched with symbols that seemed to shift and change as he watched. This had to be it, the heart of the library, where the most precious knowledge was stored. As he worked to decipher the lock, the sound of footsteps grew closer. The corporate agents were almost upon him. With a final desperate effort, David cracked the code. The door swung open, revealing a chamber bathed in soft, golden light. At its center stood a pedestal, and upon it rested a single, glowing artifact. David approached, his hand outstretched. The moment his fingers touched the artifact, a surge of energy coursed through him. Visions flooded his mind, glimpses of the past, the present, and countless possible futures. He saw the rise and fall of civilizations, the ebb and flow of knowledge across millennia. But there was no time to process what he'd seen. The corporate agents burst into the chamber, their weapons trained on David. He clutched the artifact to his chest, knowing he couldn't let it fall into their hands. In that moment of desperation, something extraordinary happened. The artifact pulsed with blinding light, and David felt himself being pulled apart at the molecular level. The world around him dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations. When the light faded, he found himself standing not in the ancient library, but in the heart of Nyataku itself. Disoriented and gasping for breath, David stumbled through the neon-lit streets. The artifact had transported him across space and time, but to what end? As he regained his bearings, he realized the city looked different. Subtly changed in ways he couldn't quite put his finger on. A nearby holoscreen flickered to life, displaying the date. David's eyes widened in shock. He hadn't just been transported across space, he'd traveled through time as well. The year was now 2078, and the world around him had shifted in ways both small and profound. As he made his way through the familiar yet strange streets of Nyataku, David's mind raced with questions. What had the artifact shown him? How had it brought him here? Most importantly, what was he meant to do now? The answers, he realized, lay not just in the knowledge he'd gained from the library, but in how he chose to use it. The future, humanity's future, was quite literally in his hands. With the power of the artifact and the wisdom of the ancients, David had the potential to reshape the world. But first, he needed allies. As he walked, David's eyes scanned the crowds, searching for familiar faces. He knew that somewhere in this city, there were others like him, those who sought to break free from corporate control and build a better future. His augmented reality interface chirped, alerting him to a nearby signal. Someone was trying to contact him through secure channels. David's heart leapt with hope. Could it be Mama Zulu? Or perhaps other members of the resistance who'd somehow learned of his arrival? As he made his way toward the source of the signal, David couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement mixed with trepidation. The world of 2078 was full of new dangers and opportunities. But with the knowledge of the past and the technology of the future at his fingertips, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The signal led him to a hidden alleyway, where a figure stood shrouded in shadows. As David approached, the figure stepped into the light, revealing a face he recognized. But older, weathered by time and hardship, it was himself, or rather a version of himself from this timeline. The two Davids stared at each other in amazement. The older David spoke first, his voice filled with a mixture of relief and urgency. "I've been waiting for you," he said. "We don't have much time. Corporations are on the move, and they're closer to their goal than ever before." As the two versions of David exchanged information, piecing together the events of the past year, a plan began to form. With the artifact's power and the combined knowledge of both timelines, they had a chance to turn the tide against corporate control and restore balance to the world. But it wouldn't be easy. Corporations had grown even more powerful in the intervening year, their reach extending into every aspect of society. To succeed, David would need to rally the resistance, unlock the full potential of the artifact, and navigate the complex web of alliances and betrayals that defined this new world. As the sun began to set over Nyataku, casting long shadows across the city's towering skyscrapers, David felt a sense of purpose unlike anything he'd experienced before. The echoes of the past had led him here, to this moment, this crossroads in time. With a deep breath, he stepped out of the alley and into the neon-lit streets, ready to face whatever the future might hold. The final chapter of his journey was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. As the city pulsed with life around him, David couldn't help but smile. He'd come so far, faced so many challenges, and yet the greatest adventure still lay ahead. With the wisdom of the ancients and the power of the future in his hands, he was ready to write a new chapter in the story of humanity. One of hope, freedom, and limitless possibility. The echoes of the past had brought him here, but it was the promise of the future that drove him forward. And as David disappeared into the crowded streets of Nyataku, one thing was certain: the world would never be the same again.